Hey, Dostie here with Dostie's View, and today I wanted to talk about boots. Specifically, what does Scarpa have up their sleeve? What are they working on? I think it was almost 3 years ago now. They announced that they were coming out with a new Telemark boot line. That means more than one. But we know that a lot of things have changed in the meantime, and so it may not, that might be biting off too much, to come out with a full line. But to come out with a new boot, at least one, does make sense. At least within the Telemark community, there's a lot of us who have been whining that we need a boot that's lighter weight, that has greater range of motion. It's NTN 2-pin low-tech toe compatible. And some would even say low-tech heel compatible. And I know Scarpa's been working on some stuff, and I've even had the opportunity to try something. So some things I know, but other things like nobody knows. People who are supposedly connected to the insiders really don't know, and the insiders aren't saying. So I just wanted to talk about what we might expect, okay? So lighter weight. Actually, let's get to that next. Greater range of motion, a better walk mode. It's a guarantee. Whatever Scarpa comes out with will have a better walk mode, range of motion cuff, okay? The technology exists. I mean, they could do it tomorrow if they didn't also want to improve some other things, okay? So, and people have been doing it, okay? You've seen that I've made some modifications. Plenty of people taking old Mistrali cuffs and they've adapted them to their new TX Pros or TXs or TX, whatever, okay? People have done it, it's possible, and I'm quite certain if it were an integrated boot, it would be much better than what we got right now, okay? It might not be as good as some of the AT boot walk range of motions, like the F1, but it's going to be a dramatic improvement. So we can count on that, okay? So then the other thing, is it going to be NTN compatible? Yes, because as far as Scarpa is concerned, there's no need to develop anything new for 75 millimeter. 75 millimeter is topped out. It's great, okay, but it has reached the limit of what is possible with 75 millimeter. So to move things forward, to add other capabilities or improvements to what exists with 75, you got to go to a new interface, which is NTN. And NTN has proven to be better for downhill control, and with a low-tech 2-pin toe, more efficient for touring. Okay, great. So weight, lighter weight. Now depending upon what boot they come out with, and if you were to do like an apples to apples comparison, sort of like for instance comparing TX Pro to T1, okay? They will definitely say, wait, in fact the TX Pro is lighter than the T1, but it's more or less the same performance boot. Okay, and so I have no doubt that they can improve that more by shaving things here and there, using a lighter weight cuff, but I don't think they can save a whole lot of weight on the Scarpa, on the lower part of the boot, because they need a plastic that is flexible, and that's Pebax, and Pebax is not the lightest weight material available for a plastic ski boot, but it flexes, all right? So really, kind of the question is, what's the market saying? Or from Scarpa's perspective, what makes the most sense? I mean, where are we going to get most bang for our buck? All right. And so are they going to come out with something like a T-Race? I doubt it, because that's not the majority of the market. A T1 TX Pro, that's compelling because it is the most popular Telemark boot size genre in their line, but I question that they would do that, because that would sabotage boot sales of the TX Pro. Here's the thing. TX Pro is a fantastic inbounds resort boot, and it's an acceptable out of bounds backcountry boot. The limit to it on the backcountry is it's relatively heavy compared to other things, and it doesn't have a great range of motion in the cuff, but it's acceptable. It's better than nothing, right? So it's good, all right? And if you're a telemarker, you're not going to necessarily switch to AT to go to the backcountry for weight alone because you love the Telemark term. I do too. That's okay. So I'm not willing to compromise that. I do want lighter weight, but I'm not willing to compromise the term for lighter weight. So then the question is, would they come out with something more like a T2 or a TX? Now just, and I'm hoping that we might even get better than that, but I don't think in the first round. You know, this is a TX, okay, compared to when I first started doing serious downhill telemark, this is a monster boot. But this is the low end of what Scarpa actually offered, because they no longer offer the TX. That's missing in the line. TX Pro is basically the same boot with another buckle and a little bit higher cuff, but the flex of the bellows is the same. TX Comp, it's stiffer overall and taller. The TX, I went with the TX because that was basically a replacement for my T2X, which in reality, we think of it as a T2, okay, historically, but the reality is this is the old T1 mold from the late 90s, and then when they came out with a four-buckle T1 in the late 90s, this became the T2 because the T2 used to be even lower cuffed. This is a T2, I think circa 98, something like that. And in my dreams, I don't expect Scarpa will come out with an NTN 2-pin replacement for this until they knock it out of the park with whatever they're coming up with. And the question is, what are they going to come up with? Are they going to try and replace the TX Pro? I think that would sabotage existing sales, but maybe they think it's worth a gamble. Or is it going to be more like a TX, which personally I would love, but I've been talking to a couple of other retailers, and that's the big hole in the line. TX Pro is the majority of purchases. A lot of people want an NTN T2, but they can't get it, so they get the TX Pro. So I'm thinking this is the direction that Scarpa is going to go. But you know what? It ain't up to me. It's up to you. Okay, so make your voices known. There's plenty of outlets, right? There's forums and all that stuff, right? And it's not like I don't think Scarpa already has in mind what they're going to do, but this will help confirm or deny which way they're going before they finish things off. And when are they going to come out with it? I have no clue. None whatsoever, you know? So, hey, listen, until next week, free your mind. Kick up your heels, get down on your knees, and spread telemark.